Okay, this question comes from our Math 110. Basically is, well, I can't remember. I thought it just printed, but it didn't. Okay, I'll pull it up. Nothing's working right this morning. There we go. And I'll pull up my active, and I will do this, and maybe this will work. How's that? This is the question, 6.147, and it looks like we've got some radicals. Don't let that scare you. First thing you're going to do is you got to rewrite it and get everything looking right. Okay, so let me see what I can do. Take my handy dandy digitizer, and we're going to say square root of 10x plus square root of 3 times y is equal to 6. And the square root of 11x minus y is equal to the square root of 2. All right, that's your first step. The reason you want to do this is to lessen the anxiety. One thing we can do is to get this coefficient to be the same as this coefficient, divide this whole thing by the square root of 3. That would probably be the easiest thing to do. Now remember, it says use calculator. Now that could do two things. You can do by changing everything into a decimal and then doing it, or you can go ahead and get it to where you can eliminate a term and then use the calculator. I do not think they want you to just plug these into the calculator and just spit out a number. I don't think they want you to do that because that's not learning, that's just reciprocating an operation. So I'm going to divide this whole row by the square root of 3. And that's going to give me the square root of 10 over the square root of 3x minus, well, the square root of 3, plus the square root of 3 over the square root of 3 is 1, so that's going to be y, and then that's going to be equal to 6 divided by the square root of 3. So that one's gone away. So now you've got the square root of 11x minus y is equal to the square root of 2. And then I have no idea what these are, so I will take my handy dandy calculator and we'll do it, if you don't mind, to pull up our handy dandy calculator. Dun, 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 dun. And there's our handy dandy calculator. Let me situate this over a little bit and pull the question back up and make the question a little bit smaller. The things I do for y'all, I just do all this for y'all. There we go. Make it a little bit bigger. Move this back over. All right, square root of 10 over square root of 3. So turn it on and clear, and 10 raised to the 0.5 power divided by 3 raised to the 0.5 power. That's equal to 1.83. So I'm going to go back over here, and I'm going to put 1. Oh, now I done lost my pencil. There we go. So 1.83 x plus 1 plus y is equal to, and 6 divided by the square root of 3. So I'm going to take 6 and divide it by 3 raised to the second power, or 0.5 power. Let me make sure I didn't do parentheses. Divided by parentheses 3 raised to the 0.5 power. And I closed that parenthesis, didn't I? 0.5, yeah. Okay, 3.46. So that comes out to 3.46. Sorry. And then change these, the square root of 11. 11 raised to the 0.5 power. Let me get rid of this. There. 3.32. So I'm going to change this to 3.32. This mouse, I can't write with the mouse. I gotta switch to my pen. And the square root of 2 is 1.41, but I'll check it just to make sure I remember it correctly. So 2 raised to the 0.5 power. Yeah, 1.41. So I'm going to change that to 1.41, and then you're ready to rock and roll. 1.41. Now, use the elimination method, and what happens to the y's? Take my handy dandy red pen, and that y, oh well, it's not going to change to there. That y goes out with this y, and 3.32, that's going to be 5.15. Y'all have to check it out for me. 5.1, or we got to subtract. Yeah. 5.15, let's check. 2 plus 3 is 5, 8 plus 3 is 11, bring you 1, yeah. Y's go out is equal to, and that's going to be 4.87. And of course divide by 5.15. And divide by 5.15. Take our handy dandy calculator. And 4.87 divided by 5.15, that's 0.95, and I think that's what they got right there. Now the reason it's 9.949 against 9 is I rounded mine to the second digit, to the second decimal point. They're wanting you to keep the whole 10 digits in there. Now that can be a little bit of a pain, but that's why they're asking you to use the graphing calculator. You can also solve for y and put these in the graphing calculator and get it that way. I'm not a big proponent of showing students how to solve equations in the calculator, but you can go to a matrix. I think it's under math, and go under matrices, and I think you can put this in there and you can actually solve it, but I'm not a big proponent of that because that ensures, that helps instill calculator dependency, and people can't make change at cash registers because of calculator dependency. So 0.9, I'm going to say 0.95. And then how do you get, well, you can either solve for y on one of these, or you can plug this in for x and solve for y. However you get it is fine, but that's how you get the answer. I at least got you that point right there, 0.94 or 0.95. So when it says use the calculator, it means to utilize it. It doesn't mean to depend on it. And what I've shown you is how you can do that. Okay? Hope that helps.